how did auditioning even come to be for you?
The judge went like, "Thank you so much, everyone. Number 3, blah, blah, blah. Please stay behind." And you know what the first thought that I had was, oh my God, she's going to tell me, please never come back again. Hi, everyone. My name is Cece.
And I'm Chris Molly.
And this is Pod in the Verse, a fan-first podcast that explores everything about the music world.
Here to take K-pop further than ever, episode by episode, we'll dive deep into the latest content while getting to know other fans.
So, grab your favorite headphones,
get comfortable,
and dive into the pod with us. For our old listeners, you already know the gist. But for our new listeners, we have a Spanish version that's available as well. Para nuestros oyentes nuevos, sepan que también tenemos una versión en español disponible.
So, Cece, happy 1 month.
Happy 1 month. Oh my gosh. I can't believe it's been 1 month since we've launched this podcast.
I know.
This has reached further than my dreams could have ever taken me to.
I mean, to be fair, it stayed in our head for so long that it still feels unreal that we have, like, now this is our 4th episode.
Oh my gosh. And thank you so much for accompanying us on this journey. And if you're new, be excited for more to come.
And you're still here early enough to say you're day 1,
So, what are we going to talk about today?
I'm actually so excited because we're going to talk about something that I think all of us have dreamt about doing at least once, which are
auditions.
Ooh.
I've definitely dreamt about it. Have you dreamt about it?
I have, but only one of us has been brave enough to actually do it.
Very real, very real.
So tell me, like, how did auditioning even come to be for you?
Yeah. I mean, I think that truly, like, as a K-pop fan, we've grown up to watch K-pop idols like shine on stage and like have dared to dream that maybe that could be us one day. And that was me at 15 years old. Wow. I was like, oh, maybe I could do that too. And so when my family first moved to the United States, this company was doing like a global audition and they happened to be in the city right after I moved there. So then I begged my parents. I was like, please just let me like experience this one time. And my parents were like, oh, fine, just like do it because, you know, it's like good experience. Like you never know what you can learn, who you can meet. Yeah. And it doesn't hurt to just try and like step out of your comfort zone. So I signed up first online and that was like the first step to participating in the audition. But yeah, my parents just thought truly like, she's just gonna try. And I don't think they knew that I would get past the first audition, which is crazy to me.
But like, what did you even have to do to sign up? Was it just a name? Did you have to submit any tapes? Like, what was it like when you were 15?
I think, okay, this was a really long time ago. Please do not ask me to sing or dance, please. I beg you guys, the talent is not there. And that's why I'm not an idol.
Only if there's an open audition, she'll do it.
That's why I'm not an idol today. I'm a podcaster. But I believe that in the form, you just put in your legal name, like your height, weight, a picture of yourself that's like clear, like full body.
Yeah.
And I think like the languages you spoke. I think that was like, it was like pretty basic information.
Like specialties, like if you're a
singer or like
dancer.
Your age, to make sure that you like fit in the age range. And at the time, the global audition was like open to all genders. I know that for now they have like more specific like auditions for specific groups that they're looking for.
Right,
so
like
I know
projects already.
Yeah. So at that time it was just like kind of like an open audition, so anyone could sign up. So the audition happened on a Sunday, and I remember my parents drove me because I was still a kid, and my whole family went with me. And it was in downtown LA, so it was like at I think like a venue that they rented out.
Okay.
And when my parents dropped me off, like they didn't go in with me because only like people who are auditioning could actually go in. So my parents just went to a cafe nearby while I went through the process by myself.
Oh my gosh.
And it was like my first time too. So I just remember like my English was actually not that great when I first moved to the US. Like I had a very thick accent and like it took me a while to understand what people were saying. So I don't know if it's happened to you, but when people talk to you, you're like, what? And then they repeat it and you're like, what? And then they say it one more time, you're like, what? And
no, the third time I just accept that, like, okay, I'm going to pretend I know what you said.
But the third time you're like, yeah.
Yep, yeah.
Yes, okay, yeah. So I just remember being so nervous going into the audition. And then I just like gave them my form that I printed out beforehand, and then they're like looked for my number, and they're like, oh yeah, like we have your file. They gave me like my applicant number, like my auditioning number, and then you just had to wait to be called. Like, for example, they would call I think 20 people in at a time, which is actually a lot. And there were I genuinely don't remember what my number was, probably like 320 something, 300 something. And so I went, I think in total about like 506 people auditioned that day. And it was just that one day. So like that weekend of that week that they were there, they auditioned probably thousands of people. And so I remember when they called me in, I was like the third one in line, and so they lined the first 10 people like facing the judges, and then the 10 other people like against like the wall on the other side. And so the first 10 would audition, and then we would rotate, and then the other 10 would audition. And I remember very clearly the first girl danced, so they step into the front, they do their act, and then they go back. And then the second girl, I think she acted, and then she went back, and then it was me, and I was like, oh my God. And then I just freestyle dance. Honestly, I did not prepare anything. I was like, because it was my first time, and I was like, didn't know what to expect. So I literally went and I was like, like I literally was just like,
well, that's freestyle.
Truly just freestyling with no talent. And then I stepped back, and then the rest was just a blank. I was just like, oh my God, like I did horrible. I was like, I don't know what I did. And so afterwards, the next 10 went, and we were just like on the side. And then I just remember being like, oh my God, like I did so bad. And then once everyone finished, the judge went like, oh, thank you so much, everyone. Number 3, blah, blah, blah. Please stay behind. And I remember very clearly, I like looked down onto like the sticker that everyone had. And I was like, wait, that's me. And you know what the first thought that I had was, oh my God, she's going to tell me, please never come back again. I was like, I did so bad. She like told me to stay behind and told me to never come back again. And so everyone left the room, and I was just standing there, and I was like, oh my God. And then she was like, please come like to the table where she was judging. And then she was like, oh, like, are you free at 7 today? And I was
7 p.m.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, oh, okay, like, please bring like 2 songs to sing and 2 songs to dance. And I was like, oh, okay. And she gave me more specific instructions. And then I just remember being like, what happened? And then I just left the room. And then like all the other people who had left the room, like some of them stayed behind, and they were like, what happened? And I was like, I think I passed the first audition.
Oh my
and everyone was like, oh my God, oh my God. And I was just like, yeah, oh my God. And then I left the venue, and my sister was like waiting at the door. Like I think she was waiting for like an hour or something. And she picked me up, and then we were both just like in awe of just like how fast things happen, even though it like went like an hour had passed by. And we stayed at the cafe. Thank you so much to the cafe, by the way, who let us stay there for I don't know how many hours, like that whole day. I remember at 7, I went back to the room, and then the front ladies who did the registration, they were like, wait, I remember who you are. And I was like, you do? And then it's because I changed outfits for the second audition, because before going, my mom was like, oh, you should just change to show them that like you have like different sides and like different colors to you, which I was like, I guess. But the funny thing is that we drove out of our house for this audition, so it's not like we had like a bag of clothes. So you know what happened? Up to this day, my sister still like holds a grudge. My sister and I swapped outfits, and my sister up to this day, she's like, what else are you gonna rob for me, huh? Like first it's my clothes, like what else? And so we switched outfits. So the funny thing is that we even switched shoes. It was like from head to toe.
Size.
Yeah, that's true. From head to toe, we swapped outfits. And so when I went again, I was surprised that they recognized who I was, because I wasn't even wearing the same outfit. And so the girl at the registration desk, she was like, wait, like you were wearing this black outfit earlier with white pants. And I was like, how do you remember? I was like, yeah. And then she was like, oh, like usually you remember people who just like catch your attention. And she was like, oh, it's not just your clothes or anything. It's just like the charisma that you had. And I was like, oh, I was like, thank you.
Compliments galore.
Oh, I know. I was like, keep them coming. And so when I went back into that same like waiting room, and then there were only like 4 other guys, I think. This other girl from the company came, and she started asking me like the most specific questions ever. She's like, do you wear contact lenses? Like, what is your family history? Like where are your grandparents from? Like, what type of passport do they hold? I was like, wow, this is really specific, which
Really intense.
kind of makes sense because they need to like evaluate like you as a person and your history and everything. And they asked me like if I ever received training. And I was like, no, like this is just truly like an
First time,
experimental experience for me. And so I'm pretty sure it was like a 30-minute like Q&A session. And I went back into the room, and then this time it was just me and the judge again, and the lights were all on this time, and I just remember like, oh my god. And she just started by like asking me questions. She made me do like all 4, and then when I came back,
and the 2 songs,
the 2 dance, 2 song, and again I freestyled. I probably could have like practiced in that afternoon, but like
they only gave you a couple of hours though.
I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna master any dance in a couple of hours.
Right.
The talented people could do it, but not me.
You're talented enough to pass the round. So
they passed the first round, right?
Yeah.
And so I just remember like after I finished, I went out, and then the judge came out with me because I was the last one. And she was like clapping. She was like, yay, good job, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. And then I like thanked her so much. I was like, thank you so much for this opportunity. And she was like, yeah, you're actually the only girl that passed the first round.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God. I was like,
one out of like maybe like 300, 400 girls.
I know, at least for that day, right? And
Yeah.
so I think that was really good to hear, I think. And then after I left that room, I like met up with my parents again. And this time, because it was like the end of the auditioning of that day, my parents were like, you're not doing this. And I remember that like kind of crushed my dreams. I was like, wait, but like I was able to pass the first round. And I think in that sense, I think parents are able to see much more further than you think.
Yeah.
Because I think they were really worried about me having to move to Korea, like having to start this like whole long, hard journey that a lot of people face by themselves.
And also having to leave what you know, because you had just moved to the US.
Right. And then I think for my parents, it was also like the American dream, right? Like for them, the American dream was for me to have an education in the States. And so because we had just moved there and they don't know anything about K-pop, right?
Yeah.
Like they only know about the entertainment industry. And so even that is such a faraway concept for them. And so my parents were like, you're not doing this. And so I think in that moment, I was really, really mad for like the next few months. But I think now that I've grown up, I've come to be thankful for them for that. And it not in a way where like, oh, I would never do that. More in a way where like, wow, like I don't think I could have survived that with my personality, my no talent. I think
enough talent to pass, but okay.
Enough to pass, yeah. But then I think for a lot of people, like they do have the perseverance, they have the dedication and that mindset that keeps them going to be able to survive all of that. Yeah. But I think for me, truly, like I think I was able to find another path in the K-pop world, which is working behind the scenes, which is, you know, just another take onto how one can be part of the entertainment industry. And so even though I didn't live out my dream of being a K-pop idol, I think I've been able to live out that dream in a different, meaningful way.
Yeah, I mean, you still get to be close to the medium that inspired you to even audition in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And now that there are continuously like global auditionings happening, I'm certain that like your story is something that a lot of people could really gravitate to, because just because you don't decide to go through with it at the end, it doesn't mean it wasn't worth that experience.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's such an intense story. I love hearing every part of it, but I'm still curious about, you must have had some idea of what auditioning must have been like before you did it. So what was the comparison when you actually did it for yourself?
Right. I feel like when you actually go into the audition, your mind just kind of goes blank. I think it's like, of course, there's like a lot of lights, there's a camera, there's a judge, and then there's people surrounding you, but
people
also
with you while you're auditioning.
Right. And then there's people who are equally as talented, even like really talented people. And in that specific audition, people could audition for being a model, an actor, a singer. I think you could also rap. And so you could really just do any talents that you wanted. And so I think in that sense, like I enjoyed being part of that experience because it also leads you to meeting new people. Like I
Yeah.
remember I had made some friends in that audition, and a lot of people who up to this day still do dance covers and stuff. So I thought that was a really cool experience overall.
That's awesome. I mean, the auditioning process can seem so scary, especially
Yeah.
when you are applying for it. But, you know, I've heard that there's another way to end up
Yeah.
going to auditions, which is through casting.
Yeah. I have a funny story for that. So actually, I always reference to that one summer in Korea, but truly
Yeah.
that summer I did so much. But when I went to Korea a couple of summers ago with my college, I was walking the street and I got casted.
Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Like in a TV show or something.
I know, it was like a TV drama for me. But I was just walking by myself. I remember I was wearing like this purple little vest, and then this guy comes running to me, and this is like 8 a.m. in the morning. So he
Oh.
was just like, he like ran up to me and he gave me his business card, and he said in Korea like 연락해 주세요, which means like please contact me. And I was like, oh, and I looked at it, and it was the company that I recognized. And I was like, wait, is this like legit?
Is this real right
Because he
now?
just said that and he ran off again.
Oh.
I was like, what is happening? Like he truly was in a hurry. And he came and he left. And so I just held on to the card. And for a long time, I was like, should I call him? Because also I was already like in college.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I know that in the K-pop world specifically, they tend to debut at a younger age.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I don't know if it's worth a try. But, you know, since the first one, my parents said no, maybe it was the second time. But so I ended up calling the guy. And then, mind you, we talked in Korean for like a good 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh, Korean skills on 10.
I tested myself. I tested my Korean skills, but it was very like basic. So he just asked me my name, where I'm from. And he was just like, oh, like I'm from this company. This is what we do. And then he was like, can I ask how old you are? That was the question that, you know, I was expecting him to ask it. But when he asked, I was just like, oh, like in Korean, it translates to like, I have a little bit of age, which means like I'm a little older.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, oh, I'm 20. I think I was like 21, 22. Yeah. And he was just literally, I heard that disappoint. He was like, oh. And he was like, well, you know, like if you want to give me your Instagram so that we can look at it. And then so I gave him my Instagram handle, and then that was it. Like,
oh.
But you know, I think it's still like a unique experience because I've always heard about K-pop idols being street casted. Yes. So for me, I was like, wait, like I can't believe it happened to me. And up to this day, like sometimes I forget about it, which I think is just like, wow, like it happened to me.
It was your second shot.
It was my second fail shot.
Well, maybe it was more so like to give you that full circle, you know, experience of like, I really could have done this, but I'm working on a different path. Because that summer was when you took that iconic photo.
Oh, true. The iconic photo of me standing outside of the company that I currently work at. So truly that summer, a lot of things happened. I think I was able to manifest a lot of things. Such as working in the industry, but also like, yeah, I guess maybe it really came full circle for me.
Yeah.
And my parents are probably happy that I was too old for it.
Well, I mean,
they were like, please, no more.
You were doing what they wanted you to do, which is you're getting your education. Right. You were still learning about a place and a culture that you were really interested in. Maybe one day you'll be that person chasing people down with with business cards.
Please contact me.
Wow, like thank you so much for sharing that because I've always been curious since, I mean, I found K-pop when I was in high school. So I think I was like 15 or 16. Actually, around the time that you auditioned. Yeah. And I never thought about auditioning, like actually. You know, just what you do into the mirror when you're like singing the songs. But I remember.
Or in the shower, you have like a full concert.
Exactly. For me, I think what also completely turned me off to the idea was like, I had so much respect for how much work that went into it. Yeah. Because even though it took forever to find those videos, you could find videos of people in their trainee days and like when they talked about what goes in through the process. And I really had a lot of respect for how much of a commitment it was.
Mm-hmm.
And also, my mom probably wouldn't have approved of me flying
She was
anywhere
like, go audition to be an aventura instead.
And not even that. She could go back to school. I didn't come here for you to leave school.
Right. I think in that sense, like maybe we also relate to each other because we're like both kids of immigrant parents.
Yeah.
And so for a majority of us, it's like the American dream is so real. And so I think achieving that dream for our parents was a lot more important, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if like my mom saw anybody running up to me, actually no, like when I was a kid, we used to get approached, but like in the mall when they're just like, please, we're doing castings for like a kids TV show. But we're
Oh,
just like, you never
I've
know.
never had that. I didn't grow up in the US, so that's interesting.
In the US, that happens. At least that
Oh.
was something that happened
So
a
they're
lot.
just casting children for like TV
Yeah,
shows?
like literally they'll go up to you in the mall, but you never know if they're real or not, which is the same reaction you had.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes they'll come up to you and be like, excuse me, to the parent, like your kid is like so cute or perfect for this role that we have. Please contact us. And my mom just always like threw that stuff out. Like
she was like, no.
Well, because she was like, no, it's a scam. And so I'm like, okay, fine. It's probably a scam. And then you just keep walking.
Yeah. But did you ever regret that? Like, did you ever have that dream of like, maybe I could be that TV kid or something?
I mean, when you're a kid and you don't think too much into the future, like you said, of course, I'm just like, man, maybe that could have been like one day me. But then you get older and you're like, you know what? I'm cool with the life I have. And I'm much happier working behind the scenes, just like you.
Yeah. And, you know, everyone chooses their own life path. So it's amazing to hear that you didn't end up becoming a child star because now you can
if it was real,
work on
if
this
it was
podcast. if it wasn't a scam.
If it was not a scam, because again, those scams were very prevalent also back in the day. So for all I know, I am just happy that now we get to hear your story. And also now there's legitimate ways for people to audition for these things. Like they do full-on casting calls, the rolling applications for some of them.
Yeah, and I don't know how much auditions have changed, like the audition scenes have changed. So truly that experience was very unique to me back then. And I don't regret doing it at all. Even if my parents regret it, I don't.
Well, they don't because you listen to them. So
I was a good child.
Yeah, you are a good child. But now we have audition shows that can show us a little bit more about the modern day and where it's at. We also have like people who they just like you, they go through the audition and maybe they'll talk a little bit about that and they realize, oh, actually, this wasn't for me, but it was still a worthwhile experience. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us, Cece. Yeah. I hope like if anybody else has had a story just like that, let us know in the comments. And let's move on to the next section.
The Weverse wrap-up.
So what's been going on with Weverse?
Oh my gosh, there's so many highlights all the time. I know that Coachella 2025 is coming up soon.
Oh my gosh.
And we have so many Weverse artists that are performing on there. First of all, we have like Megan Thee Stallion.
Oof.
And we have Lisa. We have Jenny. We have Enhypen. I think there's a lot of cool performances that are going to happen.
This has to be one of the most like Weverse packed like artist Coachella ever.
Yeah, and I think Coachella year after year, like they bring so many amazing performances. And if you haven't watched the Spanish version, but Valeria in the episode 1, I think she mentions how she fell in love with K-pop through Coachella so many years ago. So I think it's crazy how probably for her, even seeing Jenny and Lisa perform on that stage will be very nostalgic and maybe even full circle for her too.
Oh, definitely a full circle moment because wasn't it the Blackpinks?
Yeah, the Blackpink performance at Coachella.
Iconic.
Iconic.
Well, Gracie Abrams is starting the Asian leg of her tour pretty soon, April 3rd, actually.
Yeah, that's exciting. So if you guys haven't gotten tickets or need more information, make sure you check it out on the Weverse app. And that's been the Weverse wrap-up. Today we talked about auditioning to be an idol, but now we're going to audition to see who's the best K-pop fan.
All right, let's go.
So today in the Fan Zone, we're going to play a game called Guess the K-pop Song, and our production team is going to help us by playing a couple of seconds of a K-pop song, and we have to guess which iconic song it is. So please play along with us to see if you can beat us at this game, because I think I'm a little bit nervous about how we're going to do.
Same here.
Let's begin. You go.
You screamed first, so you should go.
Wait. NCTU 7 cents. See?
Open your eyes. Open your eyes.
I'm proving myself as an N citizen today.
Yeah. I was actually proud of myself because I knew that one, but she screamed
For a
first.
second, I got confused with Wolf from EXO.
Oh.
I was like, wait, is it that? Okay. I'm glad I got it.
I'm glad you listened a little bit more.
Okay.
Okay.
Next one.
She's going to get all of them.
Hey boy.
Me, Cece. Whistle by Blackpink. Chris Molly, come on.
No, I can't.
Okay.
I'm an old fan.
This is an old song now.
Yeah, I'm older than the song.
No, I know
That's
it. I
Red
know
Velvet.
it. Mm-hmm.
That's it's not ice cream cake. I don't know it.
Russian roulette.
Russian roulette.
I was doing the dance for you.
I was like, I don't know what she's doing. You could tell I don't watch the music videos as much as Cece does. But oh, Shiny's back. Well, this is Sherlock. Sherlock Shiny.
That was good. Well, this is hard.
This is actually really hard.
This is hard because I'm still like, I think our K-pop library is pretty vast. So I'm like, my search engine's going like, well, trying to figure out what song it is.
This one I remember just because it's one of the first music videos I really remember being like enraptured in. The dancing, Taemin's really long hair.
Iconic song. Okay. Oh!
This is
A-Pink.
I'll say Girls' Day.
This is A-Pink.
Okay, now I know.
Is it Mr. Chu?
Mr. Chu.
Is it Mr. Chu? Okay.
Yeah.
I was getting confused with no.
I was getting confused at first with Girls' Day because they have some earlier tracks that sound a little bit poppier.
Okay. Oh!
Coco Bop
EXO. Actually, we're pretty tied, I feel like.
No, we're not. She has more. She's very kind. Super Junior. Sorry.
Instead of saying my name, I started singing. I was like, dun, 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 dun.
I'm not even winning because you also know them.
I'm just going like and singing the song instead.
Doing the dance?
Yeah. Oh, me. TXT. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Crown.
Okay, I was like, what is dun-dun-dun?
I have to like kind of sing the song so that I can like visualize what it is.
Is this part of your audition right now?
No one judge me on my singing. And this is only for game purposes, please.
Yes.
Oh! No. NCT. NCT Dream. We go up. I really had to think that one.
Oh yeah, because this one changes midway through.
Yeah. Last one. Okay, let's make this one the tiebreaker.
This is not a tiebreaker. This is the game.
This one is worth 100 points.
We don't have points. Oh, as BTS. No More Dream, BTS.
I was really like, it's like static noise. Congrats, you won because you just got 100 points.
I cheated. I won the last one.
I love that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys were able to guess the songs faster than us because I think we were a little bit slow on some of them.
It was to give you guys a chance to catch up.
You're right. You're so right.
Thank you guys so much for playing with us. If you have any other suggestions for what we should do next in Fan Zone, please leave them in the comments. Please remember to follow all our socials for more.
Yeah, well, thank you so much today, Chris Molly. Happy 1 month again. And I hope to see more exciting content.
Yeah, I hope to see you for our 100 days.
Oh, wow. For our 1 year anniversary,
For our 1 year anniversary, too. We're just going to keep finding something to celebrate.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. This was Pod in the Verse. See you next week.